Okay everyone, welcome back to another video on the channel. We're back on Project Cars 2 still, with obviously the issues on GT Sport, so we're trying to get some setups done on that game while we're still waiting for our T500 to work on GT Sport, and it's a shame that it's still not working, but it gives us a chance to do some more pushing of these setups. And I wanted to go back to the Ferrari 488 GT3 because our original setup we did a while ago is when we wasn't fully understanding the setups, and also it wasn't really, I don't think it was as good as it could be. Obviously I noticed straight away on the leaderboards the times had really improved over the last month or so. So we went back, took the top person setup, and just made some very fine adjustments. It didn't need much. Again, it's the same person that did the Porsche 911 setup. His setups are really nice. So what I'm tending to do is look out for his setups as a base, because his driving style must be very similar to mine, because when I'm getting his setups I only have to make very basic changes to the setup. Sometimes it's just lowering the front end a little bit so it's not, changing the cambers on the front end just so it's not as aggressive when in initial turning, and obviously sometimes on the aero. And one thing I did as well was, after I've done this setup and put the time on time trial, I've raced the AI in a 15 lap race with all failures on and everything to test the setup out and get some ideas for when I'm like pointing out some stuff in the setup. So I'm going to be uploading that race as an AI test as well, because I thought it'd be interesting to test out the AI on this game. We raced them at 115%. I think if you race 120% it becomes a bit, they start doing some random times, but 115% felt okay. But we're going to upload that in a separate video, maybe tomorrow or the day after. So for this lap we're going to go through a quick track guide, and then we're going to delve into the setup and point out some stuff in there. So obviously starting the lap, first thing you want to do is make sure you get a nice clean exit from the turn last corner. So we're going in nice and early, getting it into fourth gear, and again this car really needs an early upshift. You can see how early I'm upshifting, pretty much on the first or second orange light colour, the yellow orange light. You can see there pretty much as the first yellow light comes on, we start upshifting at that stage. It really does help this car accelerate so much faster. Then we're going to look for our first major braking zone, which is going to be the 150, braking hard from the 150 down into second gear, and then really attack the curb there, then down into first gear for this part of the curve, and then hard on the power, and then accelerate all the way into the next chicane. You can see this car doesn't have the best top speed, it's not as fast as the Mercedes and other cars, but it really does make it up on the handling and obviously the way it takes the curbs. So going into the next corner, we're going to brake again, pretty much dead on that bridge that we approached there. Hard on the brake again, down into third gear, then into second gear. Really attack this chicane. The way you can sweep this car through chicanes, you can really get some speed out of the corners doing that. Then down into the first part of into third gear, and then we're going to early upshift into fourth gear halfway around. You can see there, as before we're out the corner, up into fourth gear. And then we're going to go down into third gear and then back up to fourth gear before we come out the corner. You see how we do that there? And we really accelerated out that corner nicely and got a nice bit of speed going down this straight now. And then we're working our way into the next real fast chicane, which you're going to brake pretty much dead on the bridge above us there, down into third gear, and then we're going to early upshift again into fourth gear. You can see accelerating, early upshift into fourth gear so that we're getting maximum speed on the exit of that corner, and again early upshift into fifth gear. We actually revved that a little bit higher than what I would have liked, but get away with it. You can see I'm changing gear pretty much on the first or second yellow light. That's how I do it with this car. It's definitely the fastest way. And then braking again pretty much on the 100, staying into fourth gear again. What like we did with the Porsche, this car really does like doing it in fourth gear. Although I did find that in the race conditions, depending on the grip levels and the tyres and stuff, sometimes it worked out going a bit faster in third gear, but that's just dependent on conditions with fuel and stuff. So we go over the line on a 1 minute 45.320, which puts us third on the leaderboard. Like I said, I didn't really spend hours pushing the lap, I just wanted to get the setup a little bit better. And we've tested this setup out in race conditions. When you've made the relevant changes, the setup works fine in race conditions. So you can see there, 145.322, third on the leaderboard, only 3 attempts off the top time. And we're going to have a little look at the setup. You see, again, the tyre pressure's all adjusted. You need to get rid of symmetrical so that you can obviously change the right-hand side. That's because you need to get the tyre pressures around 26 psi. Running maximum brake pressure with this setup, and the brake balance, we had to adjust that slightly to 58 from the guy, the person we took, and also the downforce. He ran 2.2. I found the front end a little bit too much on 2.2, especially when going to a race setup and going in some into a race against the AI. I found that if you ran 2-2, it was just too much on the front end, especially once everything warmed up on the car and stuff. So I would definitely run that at 1-2. That's my advice. You can see with regards to the camber angles, 3 on the front, 1 on the rear. So it's gone from pretty much maximum speed down the straights for the rears, but then we've got the strong front camber to give us some strong turning. Again, turning angle on the towing angle, sorry, minus 0.3. I didn't adjust that, and the rear toe 0.0. I was surprised it worked, but it seemed to really work well. Didn't touch hardly anything within the suspension. I think we maybe slightly altered 1 or 2 things, but nothing major. Into the engine, and engine braking 3. Again, I do normally prefer a little bit higher, but 3 seems to work okay with this setup. And traction control on 33%, and ABS, I actually adjusted that to 80%. I think it was on 75. I preferred it on 80. And the power ramp 50. Now this is one area I tried for the race. I adjusted that to 55. Although it did tend to feel a little bit bogging down, so it probably is better on 50% for that. So that's probably best left as it is there for the race as well. Point to note in terms of your vent, I found that in qualifying, the brake vents needed to be around 30%, 25 to 30%, obviously because you need to do a fair few laps in qualifying now, I find, to get the temperature in the tyres. And in the race, I ended up going to about 45 to 50% for a 15-lap race, and it felt pretty much comfortable. They weren't overheating and they felt nice. And in terms of race for the radiator, I think I ran qualifying on about 40% and for the race 50%. And even with these settings, with the brake vents open and with the radiator open on 40%, we managed to, against the AI and with everything on, failures on, we managed to hit a 45.6, a fairly nice lap. It could have been faster, but obviously that was in proper qualifying conditions where you can't just go and you make a mistake, you can't restart the time trial, etc. It's in a proper condition, so I was happy with that. And we did the race again, which I will upload soon, and we'll show you that race. But it's definitely drivable. What I have noticed though, if when you go online, is the conditions tend to change that you race online. Some lobbies have cooler temperatures. It really is a case of just adjusting your setups on the go. People seem to always run different conditions, so when you go in a lobby, the setup, I went in one lobby and it started to oversteer a bit, so I would have needed to change that. Then I went into another lobby and the exact same setup was understeering. Then I go into another lobby and it works perfect. It is very random. So I think the best way to test them is what I did. Just go against the AI, put them in the default conditions for the weather, and then test the setup, and then you can adjust the setup to your liking depending on the weather. Anyway guys, I hope you have enjoyed this video. If you've enjoyed it, make sure you sub the channel and click the notification button so you don't miss any future videos, and also give this video a thumbs up if you have enjoyed it. We're going to be back with more GT Sport Aestheticals and Project Cars 2's videos very soon. Thanks again for watching, everyone.